Welcome to R.S.V.P. Listen to the show at your own risk. We will be discussing all taboo subjects like religion, sex, violence, and even politics. You should be ready for controversy, disagreements, face-offs, and maybe some downright rumbles. Well, sit tight and get ready for this week's episode. And by the way, if you're squeamish about obscenities, don't listen to our fucking show! Well, how you doing, everybody? It's Diane Daniels coming to you live right outside of Tampa, Florida, in the good old US of A. And what a hell of a show we're going to be talking about today. We are going to be talking about organ transplants. Did you know that there have been over 750,000 successful organ transplants here in the United States since 1988? Have all those organs been obtained legally? I don't know. Where do they come from? But Bernie and I are sure as hell going to be talking about that today, and a lot of controversy surrounding organ transplants. So let's take a look and say hello to my Down Under co-host. Hello, Bernie. Desmond.
How are you, love? How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
You're fantastic. Oh, look, me too. And you know what? I'm feeling even more fantastic because I've got actually all my organs. Actually, you know what? I lie about that. I actually don't have all my organs.
You don't?
But I didn't discover it until around about, 10 years ago, because apparently I've only got one kidney. So I'm no good for an organ. Yeah, I'm no good for an organ, donor or anything like that. No, about 10 years ago, I had some kind of infection and they were doing ultrasounds and whatever it is, and they thought that I had a kidney infection. So they're looking for my kidney, like on my left side, right? And he's running the thing like all around my stomach and like right up my back, like right up here. And I'm going, Oh my God, if my kidney's frigging up here, I'm in serious trouble, right? But you could see this guy in his face. He's going, oh my God. And he goes to me, have you had like a kidney taken out? And I'm going, well, do I have a scar there, love? No, I haven't. And he goes to me, I can't find your kidney. I can't find your kidney. Anyway, apparently I've got this tiny, tiny kidney. It's about 6 centimeters long.
Yeah, but you're telling me that now. I was kind of dependent on you in case I needed one. That's it. Now I can't depend on you.
I'll give you my one the size of a jelly bean.
No, you can't give it up. You gotta have one. Hopefully, if that God forbid ever happens, we'll be way advanced and we won't have to worry about it. Christ, now I got to rethink everything. I'm taking you out of the will. That's it. All right. Well, I'm going to talk about the United States because that's all I know, obviously. You're lucky I even know where your country is. I visited it. It's the only reason why I know all about it. But we're going to talk about what's going on here currently in the United States and how we manage organ transplants legally here. All right. So there is a company. It's called the United Network for Organ Sharing, UNOS. And they've been taking care of the entire organ transplant system. They are contracted by the federal government. So they manage the entire caboodle, the kit and caboodle here in the U.S. since 1984. And they connect donors with recipients 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They manage the national waiting list. They maintain that database for every transplant that ever occurred in the United States since 1988. That's when they started.
Every transplant?
Doing that. Huh?
Every transplant?
Every transplant that's occurred since 1988.
Yeah, yep. So you're talking every transplant that occurred in the country?
In the country. That's correct, Amundo. Yeah. And then they provide education for professionals and also for donors, recipients, families, and friends, and they help develop policy. So they are the one monopolized people that are taking care of the entire organ transplant system in the good old the USS of A.
Yeah.
All right.
So they're the king poobahs. They know everything. They do everything.
They're the friggin' poobahs. Yeah. They're the poobahs that are getting paid by the federal government. Exactly. So they make their money. They get 10% of their monies. They're a nonprofit, but they make 10% from the federal government contract. And then the rest of their monies is paid by insurance and by donations. That's how they make all their monies. Okay?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
And transplants have been going on for a long, long time. The first transplant that occurred in the United States was in 1954, and it was a good old kidney. You see, you might have needed one. You didn't even know. You didn't freaking know you needed another kidney, woman.
I didn't even know that I needed one, love.
Oh, and you know what? Well, you're doing all right. With all that drinking, I don't know how the hell you're doing all right, but you're doing good.
It was an accidental finding.
Good old kidney. Doing a hell of a job, mate. So
I know.
And we've been doing transplants. The kidneys was first, then they were doing heart and pancreases, then lungs and hearts, and now they're doing intestines and friggin' like blood vessels now. That's like the big new thing, blood vessels, right? And in 1984, the United States Congress passed the National Organ Transplant Act, which said it's prohibited for selling human organs. So they made it a law in 1984. So if in 1983, you were allowed to sell organs, but in 1984, you're not. How do you like that? Right. But we do know this shit goes on right around the world. We know there is actually, one big wonderful thing. This is a beautiful stat, not the stat of the day, but Spain is the only country in the world where everybody, when they're born, gets put on the donor list. You have to opt out if you don't want to be a donor. Everybody's on the donor list in Spain.
Yeah.
All right. It's very interesting. All right. I think you might notice, because I know you were studying all week, there's only one friggin' country in the world that allows the selling of human organs. I know you know this, so tell our audience which friggin' country that is.
It's Iran, right? So... No, I don't say boo to that. Like, you know, you can't say boo before you listen. You can't say boo before you listen to what it is that I got to say. Now, come on.
Go ahead.
Chill out. Have another sippy of wine and chill out, woman. So, right. So, Iran in like the 1980s, they legalized it. So they've actually got a little bit like your organization that you've got in the US. They've also got their own organization over there. So how you go about it, but this is only available to citizens of Iran. Okay, so you can't be like a US or an Australian citizen and then fly to Iran and then legally purchase a kidney if that's what you need and have a transplant over there. So it's only available for their citizens.
Okay.
And they've got this national organisation where what happens, the process is that your doctor will give you a letter and say, yep, this person needs to have a kidney transplant, etc. You go and you take that letter to their national organisation, like their National Kidney Organisation, and then they put you on the list. So if you're a medical emergency or if you're a disabled soldier, you go higher up the list, so you're the priority. But they take the list, and then they've got also too a section for donors. So donors then get checked out medically whether they're fit or not to actually be able to donate their kidneys. Then the organisation matches up the donor and the recipient. They all have their relevant medical testing. So it's all done by actual trained medical doctors. So checking out your bloods and checking out, like, you know, whether you're
I don't even want to hear that shit. Well, how much are we getting paid for an organ? What is it? What are they paying me?
They cap it at $4,600, right?
For what? What's the organ for $4,000?
$4,600, and the Iranian government actually pay for the transplant operation, and they also pay for the donor to have 12 months of aftercare after their operation.
Okay, so every single organ transplant, the donor gets a certain amount of money, up to $4,600?
Yep.
No,
every single, So they get, it's 4,600. So that's capped. If they want to have an agreement where they want to pay more, after all of the arrangements have been done, the donor and the recipient can come to a higher amount, never a lesser amount, always has to be higher. On the average, I think that's about an extra $543 to $1,050 extra. And so the recipient pays the donor, but the Iranian government actually pays for the transplant and pays for the care of the donor.
Okay,
for 12
some
months
of it has to go to the government. Is some of it going? Do they take a fee out?
No.
Come on, I don't trust them.
But even if they took a fee out, right? Like on the black market, it can cost you anywhere from 24 to like 30,000 K for a kidney. So one of the reasons why they started this was because it's supply-demand ratio, right? Like, so Iran had the same problem as the rest of the world, where they had all of these people that needed to have transplants and they had no supply of it. So
they had none. They don't have people that die? What does that mean? They had no supply. What does that mean?
No supply. So they didn't have enough kidneys. They didn't have enough transplants.
Why not?
Because of donors, love. The same as the States. You guys.
All right. So what you're saying is they only use living donors? That's it?
Mainly, yeah. So this is living donors, right?
They don't have deceased donors.
They do have deceased donors, but they started this because living donors, if you get a living donor for a kidney, then your ongoing health outcomes, if you're the actual recipient, is much greater and much higher. And they also did it because they knew that the black market was happening and they knew that people were being exploited. You know, and the thing about it is on the black market is if you've got a broker, which is like how most people go and, you know, find out where you're going to go on a black market and get an organ transplant, the broker is the one that ends up with the money. The donor very rarely ends up with any money at all. So it's complete financial exploitation as well as exploiting somebody who's in a vulnerable state. And vulnerable being both the recipient and the donor too, not just the actual donor.
So, but what I don't understand is that the majority of donors in Iran are living donors, and they still do use some deceased organs, but the majority are being paid.
The majority, yep.
Okay, but I don't understand why they're not using more deceased organs.
Because medically, if you get a donation of a kidney from a live donor, your outcome, your prognosis for your health is so much better as opposed to getting
agreed. That's what I read too. But what I'm saying is I don't know why they're saying they don't have enough. Kidney. They're only using the people that are living. If they would use the donors from the organs from the people that died, they would have plenty. Because we don't pay anybody here in the U.S. and we still have last year in 2019 we had over 7,300 living donors in the U.S.
Yeah,
and they don't get paid for it. I mean, they might get paid if they have to travel and things like that, but they don't get paid a sum of money for donating their organ.
Mm-hmm. So where do these living donors come from in the U.S. then? Like, are they just like people like me and you walking around the streets? Like where are they coming from?
No, they ain't walking around the streets. They literally put their name and register to be a living donor. You have to register, with the UNOS and be a registered living donor.
Yeah. But where are they coming from? What socioeconomic group are they coming from? Where are they coming from? Where are they?
Socioeconomic groups. All socioeconomic groups. All of them.
Right. So the reason that they're doing that is because but don't you still have a shortage of donors
Well, there's always a shortage. We have over 120,000 people on the waiting list here in America today. Over 120,000 people waiting.
And how long's the wait list?
It varies for everything. So for a kidney, it's striking to me that the people who wait the longest are children. So between 5 and 17 is the individuals who wait the longest for a kidney. Anybody over 17, the wait is not that long.
Yeah.
But anybody that's under 17, they could be waiting 2 to 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. So in Australia, our wait lists here for a kidney are at least 3 years long on average.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
For an adult, right? So
for an adult,
again,
wow.
For an adult, yeah. So again, if you have a look at like the black market in organs, so the black market, or transplant tourism, they're calling it, right? Mm-hmm. Is it's a massive market. So it's like, I think $840 million to $1.7 billion a year, the WHO have said that's what actually happens on the black market. And of course, they can't really be like, oh yeah, well, that's the exact figure because it's a black market. So no one's really going to put their hand up and say, oh yeah, I operate on the black market selling organs to people.
Right.
So obviously it's a supply demand issue, which is why Iran did what they did, because they were in the same position. And now they don't have wait times for their citizens. Now they don't have citizens that are on dialysis for years and years and years, which not only is costing the government, a shitload of money to do that, but they've got people that are out there being healthier, and then they've stopped the exploitation. So ethical people still argue, like the con against that is that, again, it's still poorer people like trying to get themselves out of debt because, they go there and they can get paid for having a kidney removed, etc.
Yeah, but it's just not poor people. I'm sure it's people that have addictions. That's the number one problem is people that are on addictions. They steal all the time and all that. And people that have gambling issues, debt, all those addictions.
To get themselves out of debt. Yeah. But I mean, they would still be classed as vulnerable people, right? Like, so those people would still be classed as vulnerable because for whatever their reasons are, they need to go and sell an organ in order for them to get money to benefit them in whatever way it is. And I guess because the black market is so prolific, what I like about the Iranian solution, if you like, is that one, it's stopping exploitation so much, and two, it's the actual 12 months medical care that gets provided to the donor afterwards. Because on the black market, you can go and sell your kidney, right? But your broker will get the majority of the money, but therefore too, nobody's looking after you medically. So the medical problems you can have as a donor can be life-threatening because nobody's looking after you. Yeah, so it's not just about money, right? Like it's about the health of people too. And then of course the other thing is that, you got brokers that are doing it for dollars. So do they really give a flying fuck or a shit?
No, they don't care. How many donors are there in this Iranian program? In 2019 or whatever year it was.
Got no idea.
Huh?
No, got no idea how many donors they've got there. No.
Because I would love to know what the number was for the people, because it's a big contrast here in the U.S. It's the complete flip, 360 degrees. Okay, there were over 20,000 deceased organ transplants.
Yeah.
Where we had only, the 7,000 whatever, blah, 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 of living donors. So it's completely flipped here.
But I mean, I understand what you're saying, but the thing is that exploitation, the majority of this is about dollars and it's about money, right? So
everything's about money. Everything is about money.
It is, but it's kind of like Amsterdam, right? So Amsterdam legalized drugs, etc. So, and they did that because they had people dying of drug overdoses, etc. And a lot of countries don't believe in that. They still believe that drugs are illegal. Like over here in Australia, it's still illegal. And this is the same.
Is everything still illegal? You don't even have cannabis? You don't even have marijuana?
No, love.
Oh, Lord. What the hell?
No, love. No.
Do they have medical marijuana?
Yeah, medical marijuana. But even that's only just come in like the last 12 months, 18 months too, right? Like, so... I guess what I'm saying is that it's a model that has been used and put into place to counteract the black market that they had. And
they're the only country, Bern. It's the only country in the entire globe that uses it. I know. Nobody else thought it was a good friggin' model.
Sorry?
Nobody else thought it was a good friggin' model. Nobody else is using it.
Yeah, but it is getting discussed now in like the open forums and in Transplant, because who have realised that the black market for organ trafficking is just another form of, I guess,
you're never going to stop that
for people.
You're never going to stop the black market.
I know we're never going to stop it. But
no.
But the thing about it is that what about the risks? If you're in a desperate situation, okay, so in Australia it's a 3-year wait for a kidney on average, right? If you're in, end life renal failure.
Yep.
And I just listened to a story this morning, actually. This guy was 35 years old, married with 2 children. And obviously when they interviewed him, they couldn't show his face because he went and actually got a black market kidney transplant over in the Philippines, and he's from Sydney. And he was saying, he goes, I understand that it's illegal. He said, however, he goes, I can't wait 3 years. I've got a 4-year-old and I've got a 3-year-old. He goes, and this is an option that I knew that I could go. He goes, and everything's got risk. He said, but if I don't do it, he goes, I'm not going to live. I'm not going to be here to see my kids grow up. So he went and he got to the Philippines and did that. So would it not be better then for somebody like him who's choosing to make that decision to go and use a regulated body that can provide that for him and have it regulated as opposed to not regulated?
I don't know. You look at the things that are regulated. So here in the U.S., talking about the marijuana, okay, so pretty much all of the states, almost all of them have medical marijuana, and a lot of the states now allow recreational use. That here in Florida, that was 2 years ago. We barely got the ability to go to a dispensary to pick up medical marijuana. I mean, they can't even get their shit together. Okay. It's there's so many flaws, and they come up with so many problems, so many issues. They don't know what to do. So that, you know how it is. They just stop everything. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel too good about that. I just don't think it would be handled right because the money, people, they're so damn greedy. They're just so damn greedy.
But if you did a capped scheme like they did, like they've got a capped scheme. So like at the moment, right?
What did you say?
They've got a capped scheme. Capped. CAPPED. Capped.
Oh, I thought you said they had a cat meow meow scheme. I'm like, what does that mean?
Oh my God.
Speak English.
Is that the Aussie accent, woman?
What the hell? A cat scheme. I'm like, what is that? Okay, capped. Okay, capped.
Yeah. So they've got a capped scheme financially, right?
Yeah. So
you're not being exploited financially, and the donor is actually getting funds for it. Whereas on the black market, I mean, get this, China, okay? So China.
So we got to talk about China.
Yeah, China, right? So in China, okay, you can go on the internet anywhere in the world, right? And you can get yourself a broker for an organ. Like in Mexico, they've got free ads, like, so free ads like saying, you know what, I'm selling this for $25,000. I promise it's going to be, discreet, etc. They said the operation was going to be happening in Houston, in Texas. So you can't tell me that your regulated body knows about that, love.
No, our regulatory body, please. It's usually a facade over here. But do you want to know what is the number one selling tissue organ shit over in China right now?
What?
The placentas.
Right.
And they're eating it.
Oh, no. Stop it.
So they're selling it, and then they're friggin' drying it out or whatever the hell and putting it in capsules or some shit, or putting it like it was a friggin' spice over all the food, and they were eating it because, they're going back to their culture and about how it'll help with infertility and diseases and all this other crap. And they're eating it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
China.
Can't even. Well, I mean, I don't want to be doing China bashing, but here's a fun fact for you.
Look,
right?
If it's a fact,
if you go and get a transplant. Yeah, if you go and do a transplant in... Shut up, woman. If you go and do a transplant in China, right? So not only do you have the agreed amount when you go there, but do you know what they do? They put you in a bidding war. So you've got all of these seriously. So you go in a bidding war, and the person that bids the highest, when they're actually there, even though everything's been arranged prior, they're the ones that actually get the organ.
So you and I could have had an arrangement. Okay, you're the recipient, I'm the donor. We made an arrangement, whatever. And I get to the hospital, I'm in my little Johnny coat, you're ready, and you're on the bed, we got IVs going, and some idiot could walk in and say, hey, I got to give you $3,000 more, and they'll kick me out, put him on the bed?
Yeah. No, you do it. The bidding war happens before you even get to that stage, dolls.
Oh,
right. So
Lord.
you don't even get to that. So you get yourself over there. So imagine this, right? You're sick as a dog, right? You're end stage renal failure. You've been on dialysis for 100 bloody years. So imagine how you're feeling. You go, you know what? This is my last resort. I'm going to go and mortgage my house. I'm going to beg, borrow, and steal, or maybe you're loaded with cash. I don't know. Anyway, either way, you go and you find a broker. You pay upwards of $200,000 for your transplant. You fly over there to China, and then when you get there, they tell you, okay, so now it's you and 10 other people that are bidding on this organ. Off you go.
Wow.
Now that is just fucked. But these are some of the.
I got a little problem. I got a problem with China right now. I can't be unbiased. I'm having a problem, so I'm not going to say anything more about China. All right.
You got a
I have
little
nothing good to say. I'm going to shut up, bastards. All right. So now,
get that out of your system.
Look. So you got your black market. We both agree. I mean, that's bullshit. I don't know. I'm not feeling too good about your Iran program. Right now, around the world, doctors and geneticists are working on stem cells research. Obviously, we're working on that for a long time. George Bush put in, the thing about, we can start some stem cell research, right? So. Yep. They have not been able to produce an organ yet. Okay, they've been working on it. The best they've been able to do is grow a specific tissue. Yeah. All right, that's the best they've been able to do right now. In Germany, though, back in November of 2019, they were able to take a cell. They took the nucleus out of the one diseased cell, then took a nucleus from a donor and transplanted it into the diseased cell so that it would start producing and replicating stem cells. And then they were going to take them to produce new specialized cells. Very interesting crap there, all right? But we have not yet been able to actually clone a human organ. No heart, no lung, no kidney, not yet. So it's interesting. Stem cells only come from certain places. So they come from an embryo. That's the number one place they would like to get it. And we're talking about an embryo that was formed 2 to 3 days after fertilization. That's where the number one stem cells come from. Next, it can also come from the amniotic fluid. It can also come from the umbilical cord. And then in an adult, there are stem cells in bone marrow and in fat, but in very lower numbers.
Yep.
Very lower numbers. So they're working on it, trying to get the whole genetic coding down so that they can produce organs. And if there was any way in hell that they could really do it, and I know they can't, because history has just proven itself how greedy human beings get. I don't think they ever will be able to do it just to produce organs. They will want to manufacture human beings to be the friggin' greatest race of whatever they want to make. I don't think they'd ever be able to do it. They're just going to want to go on and on and on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, everything's
they want to clone a human being. I know they will.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, we're already well into that, and everything's got its ethical pros and cons, like everything,
right.
Especially when you're talking about the human body and, organs, etc. And we're not going to have, the solution to this problem in time enough, I think, to stop outright exploitation of people. And that's why I think that we need to be looking at some kind of system, and everything's got flaws in it. Like, I'm not talking that the Iranian solution doesn't have its flaws and it has its pros and cons. But at the end of the day, if we're talking black market, we're talking about supply demand already. And that's where all the dollars come into it, because these brokers wouldn't be doing it if there wasn't massive dollars in it.
Of course. Well, you got 120,000 people in America on this list right now. That's a lot of people that would probably want to pay for a black market to get whatever organ it is they need to live. No kidding. Of course, I understand it, but I kind of like Spain's idea. Everybody is born and becomes a donor. If you want to opt out, you opt out. It's voluntary to opt out. Better than America, where we're opting. We don't even opt in at all. We're all out until we decide we want to opt in.
And I guess this is the thing too, though, right? Is that same in Australia? Like we decide whether you want to become a donor or not, and that's whether it's living or deceased.
Right.
And there are a lot of people that I have spoken to that even with deceased people's, like deceased loved ones, that even if they wanted to be an organ donor, like, you know, on my license, like, you know, that I get to drive, I've got marked there that I'm an organ donor, so I opt in to be an organ donor. But your family can still dispute that when you're deceased too. And a lot of people don't like the idea of it because they don't like the idea of, you know, their loved ones being cut up, shall we say, in order for their organs to be removed and so they can go on and, you know, help out somebody else.
Let me just switch that right around. If one of those family members all of a sudden needed a heart transplant, they sure as hell would want a donor, wouldn't they?
They would. But
of
the
course.
Fact of the matter is
what the hell is wrong with everybody?
Well, I don't know, but we've been having these conversations for years and years and years.
We need to talk about it much more liberally. I'm sorry. People got to understand. If you get sick, you want a donor. But then tomorrow, if you were healthy, you don't want to give an organ if you're dead? That's ridiculous. Yeah. You're dead.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but it's actually what's happening, right? So, and that's what I'm saying about supply-demand scenario. So there's definitely things that we can do about it, but also, too, we can do something about it where we can starve the supply-demand, financial gain for brokers by,
oh, Christ, we're not going to be able to handle that, Bern. That's black market. You're not going to be able to handle that. What the hell? That's like the drug cartel.
Well,
you can't do that.
Let me tell you. You mean to tell me, so Iran now do not have waiting lists for their citizens for kidneys, right?
You just told me that they needed more.
No, they don't need more. They've got this system. They've got this system, right? So they were also, that's why they did the system, because they were out of line like we were around the world, okay? They did this system, so now with their kidneys, they don't have people on dialysis for years.
Right.
Because they've got a legal thing where you can go, you know what, legally I want to go and donate my kidney, whatever your reason is.
Right, for $3,600. I got it. I got you.
Yeah, right. So, but on the black market, we don't have that, right? So you got this poor bastard, 35 years old with 2 kids, renal failure, going to die. What does he do? He can't wait 3 years. So he goes on to the internet, finds a broker. God knows what he paid. He mortgaged his house for it. So God knows how much money he paid for it. He flies to the Philippines, has illegal surgery, comes back here. And because it's illegal, he can't even go to a doctor and get checkups over here, because if he does, it's the doctor's legal responsibility to report it. So the risks so huge. So I just think that we need to be looking at some kind of different systems. There were 12,000 black organs sold on the black market.
So come on, we know that's not true. You think they're going to tell you? What are they? They're going to have transparency for you? They all standing up saying, "Hi, I'm on the black market. I'm a broker."
According to who? Where
come
they found
on,
out
who?
About
we
it,
know
right?
about who now.
654 hearts. Right.
Bernie.
So this is illegal.
600 means 6,000.
Yeah, 2,615 livers sold. Some of this stuff is $394,000 an organ. $394,000.
I'm sure it's more. They're lying.
Oh my
They're not going to tell you the truth. It's crazy.
But even if that wasn't the truth, that's still horrific.
It is horrific. Right? I know it is horrific. But I think Spain's idea is better. I think everybody should be a donor, because sure as hell, if you need an organ, you want a donor. So you are a donor when you're born. And then if you want to voluntarily come off the list, you take yourself off. That's better than friggin' paying everybody.
What are their wait lists and stuff like that? Do you know over there?
I didn't check. No, I didn't look into Spain. Look, I had enough problems looking into the United States. What the hell? Who do you think I am, an almanac? The hell's wrong with you, woman?
Get into it.
What do you think I know everything? I don't know. Spain.
You know, like some of these people, right? They're paying $200K for a freaking kidney or whatever it is. Okay, and the donors get about $5,000 of that. That's if they get anything at all, and the broker pockets the rest.
Okay, but the point is they're living. Are they living? I don't know what the stats are for living after the transplant. Screw the money. The point is they're living. That's why they did it. They don't give a shit about the money. They want to live.
Yeah, of course. I know that. But I'm talking about the poor, but the poor donors don't, right? Like the poor donors, like, you know, they get $5,000 if they get anything at all, and then they've got nobody looking after them medically. But also, well, let's
talk about something else that goes on every day here in the U.S. I don't know about Australia. So, do you have sperm banks in Australia?
Oh yes, love. It's legal.
Listen, I'm just asking because I don't know.
And eggs.
All right. So here in America, in the sperm bank in California, that friggin' guy gets almost $1,000 for a friggin' vial.
Really?
Yes. All right. That's insane, right? That's insane. So they're getting almost $1,000 per vial. They have to have certain criteria, and they have to go so many times a year. But who gives a shit? They're looking at dirty magazines and jerking off. Give me a break, okay? Big deal. Now, people go and women can donate eggs.
Yeah.
They get around $8,000 for an egg.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right. Then.
Yeah, but again, it's all regulated and it's harvested properly, and it's all medically looked after.
But these are the things that are acceptable. People accept this because why? Because you produce more sperm, because you produce more eggs.
Yeah.
So they don't feel like it's like taking a kidney. You only got 2. Right? So I guess they figure if it's going to grow again or whatever, it's okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So what about people? Your skin. People get tattooed on their friggin' forehead and get paid $10,000 to put like a friggin' business name on their forehead, tattooed on their forehead. They get around $10,000.
What? Who does this?
Yeah, people. Like you and me, regular people. We put an ad on their internet, say, I will put your business name or your website on my forehead, tattoo it for $10,000, and they pay it. People get it done.
Is that legal, illegal? It's legal.
It's legal.
It's regulated?
No.
It's what?
It's not even regulated. Legal.
Oh,
it's a tattoo.
My God.
You're selling your service, a service.
Right. I'd want a lot more than bloody $10,000, I could tell you.
So this is shit that's going on every day. That happens in Australia, right? People are donating sperm and donating eggs. They get paid for it, right?
I don't know whether we get paid for it in Australia.
What do you mean? Of course they do. What do you think? People are running around just ejaculating for nothing?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know about that, but I'm gonna do research on that.
Yeah, check it out.
And find out. I will. I'm going to check that out. Because I guess, does that make any difference, though? Does it make a difference because you get paid as you don't get paid for it?
I would think so, unless you're a psychopath and you like to go in and read dirty magazines and jerk off every day. I guess so.
Yeah, no, but I mean, ethically, does it make any difference? Like, you know, does it change the whole ethics of it? Like, if you're going to get paid for it as, you know what, like I'm doing it out of the goodness of my heart, you know, so I want to have, like, you know, donate to somebody because they can't have children, like whether you're male or you're female. So does that change the ethics around it?
You know, surrogate mothers get paid for it. They get a lot of money. I think they get like $10,000 to $50,000.
But again, is that legal too?
Yes.
See, we don't have that over here.
See, so these are things that are being done now here that are using people's bodies or body parts or fluids in some way or another.
Yeah. So where do you sit with that then? Again, does it change the ethics around it if you were just donating that and doing that? Say you were going to be an incubator for somebody because, you know, say your sister couldn't have children, right? And this happens as well, where it's something that's just agreed in between families because they can't have kids. So there's no money involved there, except for maybe taking care of medical bills, etc. So does that change it? Does it change the ethics of it for you if it's somebody that actually goes, well, you know what, this is a service I can offer and I want to get remunerated for it, as compared to somebody going, you know what, no, I just want to do this out of the goodness of my heart because,
of course,
you know, I know there's couples out here.
Of course,
so it's different because they're getting paid for it.
Yes. If I'm doing it out of the goodness of my heart, that's the reason I'm doing it. It's for good intentions. If I want to get paid for it, so could it not be good intentions if you're going to get paid for it as well? What? Because I'm going to pay my gambling debt, or I got to go buy more drugs?
Oh, I think that's a bit broad brushing of the stroke there, don't you?
Really? That's the majority of these people. Are you said it yourself at the beginning of the show? They're vulnerable. Well, who the hell do you think is vulnerable?
They're vulnerable.
The addicts and the people with mental health.
Do you think that like women that have been surrogate mothers are like that though?
I don't know. Yeah, I can't answer.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like you don't know.
But that I don't know.
Saying.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to have an addict be my surrogate mother. I would hope not. Right.
Yeah, I know. But you've got regulations around that over there, though, don't you? Like it's regulated. Like if it's regulated, though, right? That the surrogacy. So if it's being paid for, you've got regulated bodies that are looking after it. Like, you know, you're matching people, and you know it's legal stuff they've got to sign, so they can't just keep the baby after they have it. Like all of those sorts of
course.
things.
Yeah, of course. It's very regulated. There's all kinds of a legal process. But they change their mind. Sometimes it goes into court for years. But the point is, in these kind of situations, we're not talking about an organ that is the only organ. And if you give it away, it's gone. Right? These are things that can be replicated. So a woman can have another baby. A guy can produce more sperm. A woman can produce more eggs.
Yeah. But you can also too, like live really well with one kidney. I'm proof of that, even though I didn't know that that's what I've got. Well, I've got one and a bit, to be technical, one and a bit.
Right.
So you can still live a really good, just one and a bit. So you can still live a really good life like on one kidney too. Okay, so obviously you're talking about, hearts and lungs, and I mean, that's a whole different scenario altogether.
Right, well, of course.
And you can't be, we can't be getting them from like live donors.
No.
I mean, one of the things that like ethically was brought up when I was doing my research around this too is that a lot of doctors and surgeons and transplant, professionals are having this debate about, okay, so where do our ethics lie around this? So are we going to create more of a problem by regulating it so people get paid to, say, donate a kidney, as opposed to what we're doing at the moment where you don't get paid to donate a kidney? Like all those donors that you're talking about that are on that register in the USA, they don't get paid, right?
Nope, they do not get paid, but they do get compensated for their travel, lost wages. Those get replenished by the recipient.
Yeah. Right, okay.
But they don't get a nominal amount for their organ.
Yeah. So, but yet you get paid for eggs and sperm.
Yes.
So I look at that and go, I don't really see where one is that different from the other, because you're talking about.
It's a big difference because sperm, it's all reproduced in a minutes.
But you're talking about people that are voluntary on this list anyway to donate. Like they're voluntarily doing it. So they're voluntarily
they're volunteering to get paid. Your people that you're talking about in Iran?
No, I'm talking about your people.
You're talking about the living donors?
Yeah, you're living donors, right?
Okay. Living donors. Yeah, they just want to donate out of the good of their heart. Yes.
Yeah. So
a lot of times it is for a family member, a friend, or a loved one. That's a majority of the cases. Okay, but there are stranger to stranger cases, but the majority is going to be a familial type of exchange. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, if you lost your kidney in a bit, if you lost your bit and I could help you, I would give you my kidney because I love you. I would give it to you. I don't need to get paid for that, right? That's different.
That is, yeah. I mean, that's a whole different scenario too, right? Obviously, if you're vulnerable and like you need the money for something or whatever it is, but part of what these doctors were talking about, they were talking about how ethically it's a human person's right.
What the hell are the doctors even? Just go in there and do the damn surgery. What are they thinking ethically for? What are they doing? That's not their job to be ethical. Get the hell in there and do your job. Do the surgery. What's the problem?
Of course it is. Like, yeah, you've got to have a doctor that's like ethical about what they're doing.
Well, what do you mean? If they're ready to go in operation, what are they doing there? What the hell's going on? They had to make the decision in the first place. Why are we having a conundrum?
I'm debating the ethics around what do they do about paying for organs. I'm talking about that. They're starting to have those conversations because they've still got supply-demand issues. They know that they've got people that are flying from the US to China or wherever it is, or from Australia to the Philippines.
Please, don't bring up China again, okay? Leave them out.
Stop it.
Talk about somebody else.
Well, I have to because they unfortunately, along with India, are like the biggest countries in the world that do transplants.
Well,
right?
I'm sorry.
Pakistan as well.
Paying for it is bullshit. If they have people that want to volunteer, then volunteer. And you've got the deceased people take their organs. What are you talking about? I think Spain's model is great. Everybody is born and you sign up to donate. You want to take it off later, then take it off.
I think that's great. I think that we need to be looking at some kind of model like Iran, because even the model with Spain, okay, that still doesn't take away supply-demand issues. Because
of course
in Spain, though, no, it doesn't.
Of course it does.
No, it doesn't, because you've got people that are in renal failure now that are flying across the world as we speak to go and get an illegal operation in some country. And when they get back home, right, and this is one of the things the Australian doctors were talking about, is that the cost on the medical system, because obviously things can go wrong because they're not normally done properly wherever it is that they're going to have these transplants, the cost is huge. So even though they're doing something illegal, the doctors here are not going to turn them away if they get really, really sick. So again, they're saying that the cost and the burden on the medical system when these people get home, if things go wrong, is absolutely enormous from a monetary perspective, but also to a resources perspective. So there's
we could do almost we could meet in the middle. Don't pay the person, but pay for their medical bills.
Yeah, well, I mean, I like Iran, how Iran's government actually
you and
pays.
Iran. Go move to Iran. Go.
I do. No, I'm not going.
That is ridiculous. That is not a good model.
No, I like the fact that the government pays for the transplant operation and they pay for the donor's medical bills for 12 months to make sure the donor is okay. And the recipient, they have to take care of themselves, so they pay for their own.
I'm sorry, I don't believe that they don't have some underground black market going on there, where all of a sudden you're going to get paid and they kill you. That could happen. I don't trust that. Jesus, are we going to look at friggin' our funny stuff? We're going crazy here. We're going crazy. All right, tell me about this. What do you got?
Oh, well, look, I can't see the writing because the clock's in front of it. So.
Oh, okay. It's your doctor. Your heart.
Oh, yeah. So it's this guy there, and the doctor's looking at me, he's going, look, your heart's in great shape, but I'd recommend that you transplant all of your other organs. Obviously, the poor darling, I know, look at him with his little bald head and his specs and his little...
He looks like a mess. He's a mess. You better pay for it. You better go to Iran and pay for it.
Looks like he's had a hard life. Oh.
All right.
Okay,
this is an organ party, baby. So she's saying...
I saw this.
Okay, this next organ, ladies, is a beautiful, healthy liver. Notice the reddish-brown color and a lack of fat deposits. Ooh, that would go nice with my red new kidney. It's like a sex toy party, but with organs. That's what That's what we'll be coming to later on in life. You start out, and then you move on to that. And there you are. You got to have an organ party.
I could be having one of those now to fix up my little bit.
What the hell are you talking about? You can have one of those now. Shit.
I need to have a kidney party. I need to have a kidney party to fix up my bit.
I'm disappointed that you're not giving me one. Hey. Here's Oprah.
Oh, look.
You know Oprah, right?
Oh, yeah.
She's going to point to the audience. She gives away everything, right? Well, you get a kidney. Then she's talking to someone else. You get a kidney. And you get a kidney and a pancreas. Everybody gets a kidney. On Oprah's show, everybody gets a kidney.
All righty, so I don't need to have an organ party then. I just need to get in contact with Oprah because she's giving away kidneys.
Gotta get on the show, get the audience. She'll give you one.
Yeah. She's giving away kidneys and I need one because I've only got one and a bit.
Oh, my Lord. That's so funny. That is just so funny. I really was depending on you.
Oh, look, this is how much you can get paid. Yeah, look, black market values various body parts. I can't even really read it, but anyway, suffice to say that it can go from like $4,000 up to the $200,000, $400,000, $272,000 for your lungs, and like $138,000 for one of your kidneys. Imagine that. It's going to cost me $138,000 for your liver. I think, does that say like something like, I don't know, $137,000 for a liver?
It's a lot of money. A lot of money.
It's a lot of money. And I mean, imagine these people that are doing this because they're desperate, right? So they're bloody mortgaging their houses, or they've got family that are doing the same thing. You know, and you know what? I don't really know what I would do in that situation. Okay, like I put a thing out there on,
what do you mean?
Well, I don't know what I would do really if I was in that situation. If I was like, you know, desperate and I was dying and I couldn't wait for the solution to happen legally in my country, I don't know whether I could absolutely say to you whether I wouldn't actually go and do my research and go out and about there and try and purchase something on the black market that was going to save my life or save my
I'm with you. I don't know. I'm not in that situation. I don't know
either. I couldn't say to you if I was in that situation that I wouldn't do that. Hey,
I'm with you. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's far easier to discuss it and talk about it and say you wouldn't do that for ethical reasons if you're not in that situation. But if you've been living on dialysis for years and years and years and you're on a waiting list, and
I know, but you don't know. I mean, you don't even know where that came from. They might have killed somebody to take their kidney, killed somebody to take their heart. You don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's right.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in this situation. I don't know how I would act either.
Me either. It's a hard situation to be in, you know. So I'd never judge anybody for, like, you know, making that choice. And, you know, and I wouldn't vilify
their life.
Yeah, and I wouldn't vilify them for it but you're right too. It could be exploiting somebody, taking it from somebody that
you know, didn't
shoot them down, kill voluntarily. Yeah, like didn't give
so
up
you're going to move to Iran, and I'm moving to Spain, right?
No, I'm coming to Spain.
Hey.
No. Anyway, no point me moving to Iran because like it doesn't bloody work because I'm not an Iranian citizen, all right? So I can't be getting in there.
Well, you can always turn in your friggin' passport and become Iranian.
You know, no, look, my bit's not going to get fixed
now
by
it's
going
not
to
good
Iran.
enough. Now it's not good enough, but it was okay for the whole show.
No, I'm saying that my bit's not going to get fixed if I go there.
Oh, okay.
Right?
All right. Anyway, so there we go. We have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, we're going to have to agree to disagree. Well, we did agree on some points. No, look, I think we agreed on like the majority. Really, it's just that
Yeah.
I think look, if the world was left up to you and I, and we had a bit of me and we'd better have a bit of you, I think we'd have all the solutions. People.
I think you're right. And the best part about us on this show is that we can speak our mind, but we don't have to agree with each other. That's okay. We respect each other's opinion. We listen and respect each other's opinion because you never know if that little bit might help you make a decision later on.
Yep.
You never
Absolutely.
know. You might change your mind. You might move to Spain with me.
Oh, look, I love Spain. I'm all for going there.
All right. Well, I ain't going to
Sangria?
Iran. Keep Iran. I ain't going. I ain't going to fucking China either. Oh. I'm so angry.
I'm not going there either. I'm not going there either. Like, look, the placentas just did it for me. I'm sorry. That just took me right over the
look
edge.
that up. Man, you're going to.
I can't.
It's a
I
big
don't know whether
delicacy
I can
right
look
now.
that up. No, I don't. Don't want to. Can't do it.
Are we spinning the wheel or what?
Spin the wheel. Yeah, hurry up. Get it, woman.
All right.
Spin away. Otherwise, it's just going to be another wild card because we'll just make it up as we go. Get it in the frame. I can't see you.
We got an S.
Oh, sex.
Well, whatever.
We haven't had.
We haven't had. I love
sex
talking about
for ages.
sex. I'm too soggy for myself.
Have we?
Beautiful.
All right. Our last sex subject was with Master Cauldron with the old BDSM. Honestly, we could have been going on and on.
We'll have to come up with another good one now, all right?
I'm happy about that. Let's talk about sex, baby.
So there you go, people. Next week we'll be talking about sex. One of our favorite topics here on R.S.V.P. Yep. If anyone would like to have a comment about today's show on organ transplants, please send us an email to talk@rsvppodcast.com.
Good work, Rob. You got that out eventually.
One of these days.
Every week it's either you forget how to say it or I forget how to say it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Talk@rsvppodcast.com.
It's right there on the friggin' show right there. Look at it. Ah. Oh, God. Yeah, anyway, good show. Good show, mate.
Yeah. What are you trying to say, mate? Go on, say it.
Mate.
Say g'day, mate.
Say goodbye, mate.
G'day, mate.
Goodbye.
Ciao. Bye.
Welcome to R.S.V.P. Listen to the show at your own risk. We will be discussing all taboo subjects like religion, sex, violence, and even politics. You should be ready for controversy, disagreements, face-offs, and maybe some downright rumbles. Well, sit tight and get ready for this week's episode. And by the way, if you're squeamish about obscenities, don't listen to our fucking show!